Welcome to POSTCAST from Los Angeles today, where the Utah Jazz ran into a LA Laker team that was desperate and played very well. Jazz losing tonight 102-84 in a game the Lakers really controlled for probably 45 of the 48 minutes. And Ron, during the game we were talking about blowout and whether they're going to, I kept saying it feels like they're about to blow it out. And the discussion, and really what I felt like was that the Lakers were just playing the game right. They were playing the game harder. They were hustling harder. They were executing better. They were doing everything right. And, I've always, kind of the beauty of the game to me is that if you play the game right, it treats you right. And maybe you don't get the dividends after 5 minutes. And sometimes you don't get the dividends after 15 minutes. But eventually you get those dividends. And that's what we saw tonight was the Jazz were almost that cartoon character where there was like that rock and they were holding it and then it crumbles and they grabbed to the next one. They grabbed the next one. And eventually there were no vines left. And they fell.
Jazz did not respond to a desperate basketball team, and you could tell right from the get-go that the style of play that the Lakers wanted to play was going to be on the defensive end, the way they were fronting the low block and the energy level that Dwight Howard was playing at, as though he was trying to make a point that I can do this, regardless of what's going on with this basketball team, regardless of what was said in meetings, I can do this, and he got off to a very good start there in that first quarter, and I agree with you. I mean, they controlled the basketball game right from the start, but I still didn't have that feeling that they were going to, that the score was going to end up like it is, 102-84.
Let's go to the first quarter, because that's where the tone was set and it never changed. The Lakers go wire to wire to win this game. What did you see in that first quarter, Ron?
What I saw was it started with Dwight Howard. I mean, he was protecting the basket. Even tonight he ended up with, only 2 block shots, but he was able to change Al Jefferson's shots and made him rush his shots. But the fact that just like the Detroit Pistons, remember how their defense was something the Jazz hadn't seen all season long, fronting the post, protecting the backside, and they did that very well. Especially, David, when Gasol was in the ball game, and they were fronting the post. Now you got Gasol on the backside at 7 foot, or you have Dwight Howard on the backside at 7 foot. You beat Gasol and you look around, you think you have a clear shot, and there's Dwight Howard. So that part of protecting the paint. And the Jazz ended up with only 40 points there in the paint because of that.
It's interesting to me tonight. I thought the Lakers really made every Jazz player except for 2 look very pedestrian. And Derek Favors did not look. He was terrific tonight.
Yes, he was.
And Gordon Hayward, I thought, held his own fairly well tonight. Not as well as Derek Favors. Derek Favors, I thought, was head and shoulders. Kind of, Favors was the one really, and maybe just zeroing on Favors for a second, because Hayward made some mistakes and did some things, but he seemed to get to the basket a few times and be able to kind of make some plays. But Derek really tonight was the one guy that looked like he could impact the game, where every other guy, it just felt like they were something short tonight. They just couldn't do what either the Laker talent, the Laker energy, the Laker effort, whatever it was leaving them without the ability to impact the game. I thought Derek, though, was the one who the Lakers were having to react to.
I agree. I totally agree. But Derek Favors played longer and bigger than any of our big men. And I agree with you about Gordon Hayward. Even though he made a couple of mistakes that made him look worse than what he played. But I thought Jamal Tinsley he didn't play like he was afraid there as well. I mean, he played like,
well, Jamal's not afraid of anything.
No.
Jamal just, teams have really decided to make Jamal shoot.
Yeah.
The last 2 nights he had double-figure scoring nights. Tonight he went 3 of 12, and that's only because he made his last 2 shots.
Yeah.
I think he was 1 of 10 at one point. So, but to me, a little disconcerting at how pedestrian Al looked. I mean, so Al's been so good, but is that just the reality that if the best in the league matches up against you, that's what happens?
As far as getting defended by Dwight Howard,
Al had no impact on. Al was a 15-foot jump shooter tonight. He didn't have any impact on the game.
He didn't hardly get to the free throw line,
I can't imagine what his plus-minus number is. I haven't looked it up, but my brain would tell me it was probably minus 20 tonight.
Yeah, what adjustments would he make with Dwight Howard if he had to play him again tomorrow?
Can he? I guess my question is if Dwight Howard's playing his game, does Al have an adjustment? He's the best. He's the best center there is.
That would be interesting to see. I mean, because I think that Al Jefferson's been playing very well, but he's been beating guys with the 15-foot jumper. He's not as quick as Dwight Howard to the point where he can fake and get around him off the dribble, and he has problems shooting over the top of him. So what type of adjustments could he make other than catching and putting the ball on the floor right away before Dwight Howard gets set. Because if you try to play him with Howard right there in front of you, you can't beat him.
You know what's interesting? The Jazz last few nights have been so good. Team basketball. They seem to kind of have an understanding of who they were, where they were going. I talked to you in the pregame. The phrase I like to use, the rightful order of the basketball universe. You know, when you suddenly ask a fourth or fifth scorer to be your second scorer, they can't do it. When you don't know where the ball, who, what, when, and where. With the old show, Welcome Back, Kotta. They used to say who, what, when, where, why. Yeah, you know, you had to know those things. What seemed to me happen tonight is we lost that, and we didn't have the guys who could make the individual play one-on-one. We almost missed Mo Williams after not missing, you know, kind of where we didn't miss Mo against some of these lesser teams where that rightful order suddenly straightened out. Then when you don't have Mo tonight, no one can go one-on-one. Nobody can just beat somebody. The tempo wasn't quick enough to outrun the Lakers, and it just was very eye-opening to me that the minute they couldn't go to Jefferson and they couldn't predicate everything off Al, they really had no other answer offensively.
What's next? And they didn't get there.
Am I learning from you?
Pretty much, David.
All right.
I think so. Yeah, but
if I'm saying
a great
stuff
way
and
of
you're
putting
just
it, though,
nodding,
because you just wonder where do we go from here? I mean, we've had so much success here. We won 8 of our 10 ball games here in the month of January by doing it this way. Now, what adjustments do we make now? I mean, what's going to happen here?
Because we're not going to get to Alden tomorrow night either.
Well, I wouldn't say that.
Well, we didn't in Indiana.
Well,
Holy smokes. I mean, that's the worst night he's had all year.
You know, it's a little easier winning at home. You can get things done at home. I mean, more so than you can on the road.
Was it?
And this is not a real. I don't think this is. Lakers needed this basketball game very, very, very bad. And so I think they got the job done. Right. They did what they had to do.
I mean, we'll go back. The mood around here before the game was that if they did not win tonight, you seriously thought either Gasol or Howard could be traded tomorrow or D'Antoni could be fired.
Yeah, and
you really felt
wouldn't that be something? Two coaches get fired from the same team in the.
I mean, I don't think they would have
before
done
the All-Star break.
But it really felt like it, didn't it?
Yeah.
You're talking to people around here before the game. Yeah. They'd had that team meeting and they didn't react, and there were all sorts of internal stuff that we probably don't have the right to tell you all about. But let's just say Dwight Howard had to play well tonight. All right, let's just put it that way. Like the gauntlet had been laid down on Dwight Howard, and he had to play well. He did. Jazz lose it to the Lakers. We'll see you tomorrow home against Indiana. Come out and get tickets at UtahJazz.com.